Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matthew with Waddy's channel, and I am back on the regular computer camera, so that does mean a much longer video this time around. So finally, after God knows how long, I can't even remember the last time I made a video like this. We are diving back into the Hasbro tournament. It's been quite a while, as I said, since I made something floating around. I don't know what's floating around, but it's kind of disturbing me. We're diving into Series 6 this time around. Sorry, these dust particles or something. It's kind of like right in my eyesight, and it's driving me nuts. So with Series 6 of the Hasbros, there's only 6 figures, so this video actually isn't going to take like super long. It's probably going to look at it maybe a 15-minute video. I'm going to do things a little bit different in this video. So unlike other videos, I haven't been bringing out the accessories, and I kind of regret doing that. I think some of the accessories, even if they're not like original accessories, there are a lot of customizers who make special accessories for a lot of the figures, and I just think they make the figures so much more fun. So with Series 6, I am going to start bringing out some of those additional accessories with the figures and make my decisions based on that. So just to recap, from childhood, I did have Hasbros. They are right there alongside Galoob, the only figures I did have as a kid. Yeah, we had some of the bootleg version figures here and there, but not enough. I count Thumb Wrestlers, and I count Remco, but we didn't actually have Remco. Again, we had the KO knockoff figures that were equivalent to. So that's why growing up I never really got into those type of figures, or why I never really truly appreciated those type of figures. But as an adult collector, obviously becoming much more of a fan of those type of figures. From childhood, we had Series 1 and 2. Nothing from Series 3. We had a few figures from Series 4, and that was it. So everything from Series 5 onward, I saw these figures for the first time when I started collecting, or got into collecting wrestling figures a couple years back. So I absolutely love these figures, but oddly enough, I've actually started collecting. I mean, you see my wall, collecting these figures on card, and for whatever reason, they just don't give. They don't give. I don't have this sort of appreciation for these figures on card the same way I do with the LJNs on card. Oddly enough, but. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to dive right into the tournament. And with 6 figures, we are going to have one-on-one battles. What I've been doing in the past is to make each round even. So I would essentially have to do 2 one-on-one battles to keep that mode going. But do I really want to do that? You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a regular one-on-one battle, and we'll just have 3 winners, because I think eventually it'll start to balance itself out, because you'll have 3 winners the next round, and then so forth. So at some point, I'll make sure that we end up with an even number, regardless. The first matchup we're going to feature is going to be the Berserker against El Matador Tito Santana. So, as I mentioned, here's one of those accessories, that doesn't come with the original figure, but it blends in so beautifully with the figure. So this sword actually comes from a seller, David Garland on Etsy, 4 Left 3D Creations. I buy a lot of my LJN stands from him, and just an awesome seller. He also comes up with a few Hasbro accessories as well, and this is one of those amazing ones. And the Berserker with the cloak, we're talking about one of the greatest accessories for the Hasbro line. And another thing that really makes this a great figure, a great accessory, is it blends really well with Remco. So that's pretty awesome as well. As you know, the little felt or cloak, the material of the cloak is very reminiscent of what you would find as far as jacket wise on any of your Remco figures. So anyone growing up with Remcos in the 80s, that was a nice little accessory to have, and just beautiful accessory, very easy to remove. So the figure, you'd probably look at like a $20 figure, without it. With that cloak accessory, brings it up to about $60 to $75. So it really makes a huge difference. Uh, Hasbro is far different than LJN in terms of body utilization. You see this constantly. They just swap heads essentially. And what do we see with that thumbs up? Who is this? It's a Series 2 Hacksaw Jim Duggan. All they did was change the color of the knee pads, cut off Hacksaw's head, throw on a Berserker head mold, and you got yourself a new character. They could have switched out the arm, but no, they just, again, the entire body is 100% identical to Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I said it before, Hacksaw Jim Duggan to me actually is the most perfect figure if you're a kid for play, but because the figure is just so plain overall, it's the only reason why I classify it as one of the least aesthetically pleasing figures. But Berserker overall, aesthetically, accessory wise, play pose, play pose with any of the Hasbros is perfect. You can't have a bad figure for the most part with the Hasbros. Berserker, an absolutely fantastic figure all around. Tito Santana, when I think Tito Santana, El Matador, this right here is exactly what I think of when I think Tito Santana. I don't think of Strike Force or, Purple Trunks, Tito, or anything like that. All I think is the 90s Tito Santana, this guy right here. So, anything LJN wise to me is new. Yes, I got it. It predates this guy right here, but this to me is what I grew up with. And this is such a beautiful look of the figure. I always talk about my dislike for the arm punching motion. It's not bad. It's actually a really great, feature. Is it my favorite? No, but is it bad? Not even close. It's decent. It's good. It's just not my favorite, of course. It works. Get rid of the belt here, and like I said, I like all my figures to be belted if I can. I pretty much stopped buying belts for all the figures, so you won't find all of them belted. But overall, beautiful design of the figure, an absolute beauty, and again, just like the Jake Roberts figure. Oh, just a really fun figure if you wanted to have yourself a little battle with the matchup. You're not wrestling this as an adult, but if you're a kid having this, you'd get a lot of pleasure, a lot of enjoyment from this. Not too much you could say about this figure. In a 1-to-1 battle, I think it's pretty obvious. Berserker is going to just have a clean sweep all around. I think the only thing that, the color scheme of the Tito Santana, yes, better, got it. Berserker all the way, there's not even a question. One of the greatest figures that Hasbro has ever created. And I was surprised to learn that this character has actually had several different aliases over the years. But to me, he will only have one name. And that is Papa Shango. Again, here is another figure with that arm punching motion. Yet, on this figure, that arm punching motion works beautifully. It looks perfect for this figure, and it fits. And he has an awesome accessory with the little skull necklace. And what I talk about, some of the additional accessories that customizers come out with that fit beautifully with the figure. Absolutely love it. Everything from the colors of the figure to the face paint, one of the best looks. Everything about this figure just screams awesome. Now imagine in the next round if you had to feature this one and Berserker. That's a tough choice. But he's also going against one of my favorites. And this actually isn't like, a major superstar of the World Wrestling Federation or anything. But he's a character I really enjoyed. Such a sneaky cat. It's Repo Man. One of my oldest memories of Repo Man, oddly enough, is him bashing the $1 million belt over Virgil's head, knocking him out. That allowed Ted DiBiase to pin him and recapture the championship or the $1 million championship belt. And I can't remember if he became part of the $1 million corporation. I would assume he did. It would only make sense. But the bad thing about this particular figure, and it's one that we talk about with so many of the Hasbros, and it's the fused legs. The overall look of this figure, it's a beauty. Design-wise, overall, aesthetically, fantastic. I like the arms of the figure, and I even like the tattoos. But you're not going to spend 15 minutes hashing back and forth on these two figures. You can't. I mean, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. With these type of figures, unlike the LJNs, where you're really going to sit there and have to think them over, have to really glance them, and to really determine which ones you like best. With the Hasbros, I think the answers, more times than not, are relatively obvious. When you get into round 3, round 4, yeah, you're really going to have to focus a lot more because, you got your top cream of the crop figures going. But as much as I love the Repo Man, again, I think Papa Shango is just an absolute elite figure of the Hasbro line. So Papa Shango defeats Repo Man, and we go into the last matchup. And here is, I believe this character actually was a member of the $1 Million Corporation. And it features Tatanka squaring off against Ric Flair. We'll start off with Ric Flair, who I have listed as my women's champion. No insult to Ric Flair, it just so happens that it's a small belt, and Ric Flair happens to be the smallest action figure from the Hasbro line. Yeah, you could probably put it on Rick Rude or 1-2-3 Kid, but you know what? Ric Flair. He was a bad guy. One of the most annoying, one of my most hated villains or whatnot. So, you know what? He's my women's champion. So, I actually don't despise this figure as much as most people. Yeah, I get it. I had him on my top 10 list, but I really had a hard time putting him there because so many people hate on the figure. I tried my best not to put him on my top 10 least favorite Hasbro figures. But there are just so many great figures from the Hasbro line that it was really difficult to really choose. I mean, come on. I had a Big Boss Man Series 1 and Hacksaw Series 2 on there. So it just shows you how difficult it was to really pick a character to put on your top 10 list. But, overall, it's not a bad looking figure. It really isn't. The worst thing about this figure is the fact that he's got the stupid arm punching motion. I hate that. The fact that they put these holes, I mean, obviously, because of the way that the arm has to lean back to punch, and that little mechanism, yeah, you're going to have that little hole back there, but I don't like that. They could have given him, I'm trying to think of a good figure that they could have molded to create Ric Flair. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking maybe they're onto something. I kind of felt the same way about Kamala, and I'll talk about that a little bit in the next video as well. But, some of the figures, like who really would you have chosen to mold after if they didn't use the pose that they came out with? I really can't think of one that they could have used that would have been a better selection. So I don't mind the Ric Flair figure. Tatanka, just like Kerry Von Erich, you're talking one of only 2 Hasbro figures that give you that dual arm action where both arms are extended and not just the one extended right arm. So, again, I got this one from a man in the UK. His name is Raheem Sadru. I purchased these customs from him several times. In my opinion, one of the greatest Hasbro customizers on the planet. And again, I think it's important that I also bring out these customs because a lot of the figures that I have come from him. A lot of these customs come from him. So, and you know how much I love giving shout outs to, different sellers, different customizers. So, I mean, look at the necklace. And with the head, I did a video about these before, and it's one of my favorite videos that I made. So, just being able to add this into these videos as well, I think is pretty awesome. So Tatanka aesthetically has an absolutely fantastic look to it. Overall beauty all around, just like the Kerry Von Erich Texas Tornado figure. Just a beautiful look from one of my favorites as a kid. When he turned, he became a bad guy. Started working for Ted DiBiase. That kind of sucked, but I appreciate the figure. I mean, yeah, I said when I was making these videos that really, how can you not take history and personal feelings into effect when you make your selections? But come on, you've got an elite fit. Well, yeah, I'll call Tatanka an elite figure, and Ric Flair was on my list of least favorites. So to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Tatanka will defeat Ric Flair. And with those added accessories, I'm telling you, accessories create a perfect figure. And Tatanka moves on to round 2. Alright, so, where did I put my notebook? Alright, so, in Series 7, we have Crush squaring off against Kamala. We're going to have Nails squaring off against Owen Hart, and we're going to have Shawn Michaels squaring off against Razor Ramon. So this video ran 17 minutes. So I estimate that video and Series 8, which is going to feature Bret Hart squaring off against Lex Luger, Undertaker against Mr. Perfect, and Yokozuna against Bam Bam Bigelow. I would assume each of these videos will probably hover around 20 minutes apiece. So today is Wednesday the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, Wednesday the 22nd of February. So it is my goal to get this video posted tonight. I'll probably make the other 2 videos, and I'll probably get them posted the next couple days as well. So that way you're not waiting several days to get to see these videos. I'm not going to be waiting around for 100 views before I post the next video. Like I said, you guys waited long enough for these videos to come out. So, and I'm really eager to get to round 2 and round 3 and see how this tournament progresses. So I want to definitely get them up as quick as possible. Let me know what you guys would think, and who you would have selected, and if you feel like I made the right choice. And if you have any other questions, yeah, that's it for now, and I will come back with the next set of videos. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you in the comments.